Hey guys, I just want to share this anecdote with you. I had two bilge pumps fail. My automatic on a float switch and my manual. And how does that happen? Well, I was at the boat a month ago and bilge pumps working, the electric bilge pumps working, and I usually, switch it on to manual when I arrive at the boat just to get any rainwater, whatever, out. And next day, it's dead as a doornail. So I go have a look at it, and okay, you know what? Some of the wiring was corroded, and kind of even just broke off in my hand. So I rewire it. And then I notice, oh, you know what? The fuse is blown. So I pull the fuse out. It's a 5 gallon per minute flow jet pump, and it's supposed to draw 10 amps, and it's got a 6 amp fuse. I'm like, okay, well that's obviously the problem. There wasn't a big enough fuse in there. So I replace it with the 10. Everything works fine. I leave the boat, a month ago. Arrive back at the boat, and suddenly the bilge pump is blowing fuses, and it's also blowing the breaker at 10 amps, and the bilge is full of water. I have a leak, and that's beyond the scope of this, but so okay. Eventually I determined I replaced the fuse and then switched the breaker. It blows again, and okay. Then ultimately I determined that the motor is gone, and it may have had a salt water event when it failed, and I had this other leak. It went up above the electrical motor, probably got salt water in there, killed it. Okay, no problem. I'll use my Whale Gusher 10, the manual one in the cockpit here with the lever, which is it's right here, and it's, I'm sure many of us have these. It's bellows style, and it came with the boat. It worked. Whale Gusher 10 worked when I got the boat. Of course, when I installed the 5 gallon per minute on an automatic float switch with the manual provision, I don't think I've used that Whale Gusher 10 for 5 years. I didn't have to. Thinking, yeah, whatever, it's fine. So, of course, I go to pump out the bilge. And guess what? The Whale Gusher 10 isn't working. It's sucking air. It's not priming. And so now I got my 5 gallon a minute on a float switch pump failed, and my Whale Gusher 10 manual, the backup of backups, is also not working. Anyway, I pull the thing apart and take a look inside. One of the check valves is not seating anymore. It's too old. I don't know how old that is in there, but I bought the boat 9 years ago. It was working then. They say that they can dry out and whatnot. So I've ordered a kit. I was able to clean it up and get the rubber supple again on the check valve, and I did get it working. But that was a real shock to me that my backup, which I granted hadn't used in some time, didn't work. And when my 5 gallon a minute 12 volt flow jet failed, so I've got a new flow jet ordered. It's on its way, and I've got a repaired manual Whale Gusher 10 kit coming. I've got it working for now, but it occurred to me that there's probably a lot of us in this situation where we've got a 12 volt on a float switch with a manual provision, and we use that all the time, and we don't use our pump action backup very often. I know I hadn't used mine in probably at least 5 years, and maybe even 6. Anyway, I thought I should share that with you. You know, check your check your emergency, manual bilge pump. Make sure it's working. The other thing, the way in which the motor failed, I think I must have had a water event, and it blew the fuse at 6 amps. Put in the 10, and then it worked. And then when I left the boat for a month, came back, it didn't work. So I think the engine, or that electric motor, was in the process of failing a month ago, and then it finally just killed itself. So I was thinking, oh, this is all good. It was a new bilge pump. I put it in 2016. It's 2025, so it's 9 years ago. So, we get new boats, we start retrofitting, and then 9 years go by and things start to fail. Things that we installed. It doesn't seem like 9 years went by, but 9 years went by. Wires were corroded and snapping, and the pump failed. So there you go. I'm going to call that an easy lesson for me. And by all means, whatever it is you're doing out there, respect the risk, have fun, and we'll see you next time.